Doubt is the most subtle enemy of progress. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It doesn't shove, it taps. And yet that gentle tap delays destinies, derails purpose, and denies generations the legacy that was meant to be born through you. You know how many people are gifted, talented, anointed, skilled, intelligent, but still stuck, not because they lack the capacity, but because they keep pressing the delay button that is called doubt. Every time an idea is birthed in their spirit, doubt is right there to shut it down with a question: if it doesn't work? And so instead of moving, they hesitate. Instead of acting, they analyze. Instead of speaking, they shrink. And time, which waits for no man, just keeps on ticking. You see, doubt has a voice, but it rarely sounds like fear. Doubt sounds reasonable. Doubt sounds mature. Doubt sounds like responsibility. It'll tell you, be careful, or wait until you know more. Wait until you have the money. Wait until everything is perfect. And so you delay your destiny, not because you don't believe it exists, but because you doubt you're ready for it. But let me tell you this: you will never feel ready to walk into a calling that is bigger than your comfort zone. You will never be 100% prepared for a life that is rooted in purpose, because purpose demands faith, not perfection. The more significant your assignment, the more resistance you will feel, and doubt is the language of that resistance. Some people think that doubt is humility. It's not. Doubt is pride wearing a mask, Hez. Doubt's, I need to figure it all out before I move. Faith says, I'll move and trust that what I need will be revealed as I go. There are doors you'll never see until you take the first step. There are resources you'll never receive until you commit. There are people waiting to help you, but they're waiting on the other side of your obedience, not on the side of your hesitation. Doubt delays, belief activates. And every time you choose doubt, you choose delay. The tragedy of life is not failure. The tragedy is hesitation, because failure teaches you something. Hesitation teaches you nothing. It keeps you in the same cycle of almost started, almost finished, almost applied, almost believed, and almost never changed the world. Almost never fed your family. Almost never left a legacy. Almost is the twin of doubt, and doubt will keep you on the sidelines watching other people live the life you were born to create. And here's what you've got to understand. When you doubt, you are not just doubting yourself. You are doubting the one who created you. You are saying, a God, I hear yoke, but I don't trust what you put inside me. And that is the ultimate insult to your own divine design. You are not average. You are not random. You are not here just survive. You were created with purpose, for on purpose. But if you let doubt speak louder than belief, you will never walk in that purpose. So the next time you hear the whisper of doubt telling you to wait, telling you to slow down, telling you to hold back, I want you to recognize it for what it really is: a lie meant to keep you from breaking cycles, from shifting generations, from becoming the version of yourself that only obedience can unlock. Because when you strip doubt of its disguise, all you're left with is fear pretending to protect you. But belief activates vision. Belief pushes you forward. Belief wakes you up with fire and urgency. Belief says, even if I don't have all the answers, I've got all the permission I need, because the calling itself is my confirmation. No more pressing the delay button. No more sitting on ideas. No more waiting for perfect timing. Doubt delays destiny, but belief ignites it, and you don't have time to waste. Belief is the currency of acceleration. Just like money moves things in the marketplace, belief moves things in the spirit, in your life, in your business, in your assignment. Nothing moves without belief, and everything speeds up when belief is present. You don't need more time, you need more belief. You don't need more followers, you need more belief. You don't need more information, you need more belief. Because when you believe at a high level, you start attracting at a high level. Belief is the internal substance that creates external momentum. When a person really believes in something, not just in their head, but in their heart and in their speech, everything around them begins to adjust. Environments shift. Opportunities reveal themselves. People show up who were always meant to support the journey, but were waiting for the signal of certainty. That signal is not noise. It's not shouting. That signal is belief. Belief sends a frequency out into the atmosphere that says, I'm not testing the waters. I've already decided. And when that frequency is released, the acceleration begins. Now, let me be clear. Belief is not fantasy. Belief is alignment with truth. You don't believe in random hope. You believe in divine purpose. You believe that the thing inside you is real. You believe that the vision given to you was not placed in your spirit to torment you, but to be fulfilled through you. That belief becomes your engine, and the more you feed it, the faster you go. That's why two people can start at the same time with the same opportunity, and one will skyrocket while the other stagnates. It's not about resources. It's about the power of belief. Belief makes you do things differently. It changes how you talk. It changes how you walk. It changes how you respond to rejection, failure, or criticism. When you really believe, rejection doesn't stop you. It just redirects you. When you really believe, failure doesn't define you. It refines you. Belief gives you speed because it gives you focus. You're no longer looking around for validation. You're not checking if people approve. You're not comparing your progress with someone else's highlight reel. You've locked in. You've set your eyes like flint. And because you're not distracted, you're accelerated. The greatest delays in life are not external. They are internal. People think that life is hard because of lack, but often life is slow because of disbelief. When you walk in belief, you stop begging and start building. You stop doubting and start doing. You stop waiting for things to happen and you start making things happen. Belief is not passive. Belief is active. It moves you. It compels you. It calls things into existence with authority. You have to understand your belief system becomes your operating system. If your belief is limited, if your movement will be limited. If your belief is strong, your actions will reflect that strength. Belief makes you invest in yourself. It makes you speak up in rooms where you used to be silent. It makes you create when others consume. It makes you wake up with a fire in your bones. It actually means becoming more like, because you're not just chasing a dream, you're carrying a divine assignment. And here's the powerful truth then. Belief creates acceleration because it removes hesitation. Every time you hesitate, you slow down momentum. Every time you question yourself, you disconnect from the source of your strength. But when you believe, truly believe, the hesitation dissolves. You start to operate with divine urgency. You're not moving in panic, you're moving in purpose. You know that what's ahead of you is greater than what's behind you, so you don't delay. You run, you build, you release, you obey. So if you want speed in your life, you don't start with hustle, you start with belief. Because when belief takes over, speed becomes natural. Momentum becomes automatic and acceleration becomes inevitable. Belief is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It's the internal fire that gives birth to movement, action, and progress. When someone truly believes in what they've been called to do, they stop waiting for perfect conditions. They stop waiting for validation. They stop trying to explain themselves to people who were never meant to understand them. Belief makes you bold. It makes you decisive. It doesn't ask for permission. It declares its presence. When belief is alive in a person, they move differently. They don't drag their feet. They run with purpose. When you believe in the vision that's been placed inside of you, You naturally move faster. You don't hesitate. You don't question every decision. You don't waste time trying to figure out if you're good enough, smart enough, or qualified enough. You just go. Belief causes acceleration because it silences the voices of insecurity that normally slow you down. It doesn't mean the doubts disappear. It just means belief becomes louder. And in the presence of belief, doubt loses its authority. Acceleration doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from trusting what you've already been shown. The more you believe, the more momentum you gain. Even when there's no applause, even when there's no guarantee, even when there's no evidence yet. That's what makes belief so powerful. It doesn't wait for fruit to show up before it waters the tree. It invests, it sows, it builds, all because it knows that the harvest is inevitable. That kind of belief makes time bend in your favor. What should take years can happen in months. What looks impossible becomes normal. You can always tell when someone doesn't believe in what they say. Their actions are hesitant. Their energy is weak. Their decisions are delayed. But when someone believes, their movement is swift, clear, and confident. They're not stumbling into their future. They're stepping into it with full authority. Belief creates a straight path because it removes the weight of fear. And without that weight, you can run faster, aim higher, and last longer. Belief creates a kind of tunnel vision that protects you from distractions. When you believe, you don't have time to gossip. You don't have time to compare. You don't have time to second guess yourself every step of the way. You're moving with urgency because you know your time is valuable. You know your purpose is urgent. You know lives are connected to your obedience. So while others are busy overthinking, you're building. While others are talking, you're doing. That's the speed belief brings. At the end of the day, belief is not just a feeling, it's a force. It pushes you beyond limitations. It drives you through rejection. It lifts you when things get heavy. And it always multiplies what you have. Belief doesn't ask, do I have enough? Belief says, let's move with what we've got. And in that movement, doors open, resources appear, helpers show up, acceleration happens, not because everything was ready, but because you were ready to move without doubt. You can't possess what you don't first believe. Everything in life, whether success, wealth, healing, influence, or impact, begins with belief. Belief is the access key. It's the invisible transaction that takes place in the spiritual realm before anything manifests in the physical. If you don't believe something belongs to you, you will never reach for it. You'll walk around the promise. You'll talk about the vision. You'll even admire others who have it, but you'll never take hold of it yourself. Not because it wasn't available, but because your belief never allowed you to claim it. People often ask, why does it seem like others are advancing and I'm stuck? And most of the time, the issue isn't ability, it's identity. You will never reach beyond the level of belief you carry about who you are and what you deserve. If deep down you don't believe you're worthy, you'll sabotage every opportunity. If you don't believe you're capable, you'll avoid the rooms you're called to. It's not that you're being blocked. It's that your own disbelief becomes the wall. You'll reject doors that were divinely opened simply because you assumed you weren't allowed to walk through them. Belief is the foundation of possession. Until you believe that something is possible for you, it won't matter how many strategies you learn, how many mentors you follow, or how many plans you write. You'll always operate with hesitation. That's why people can go through coaching, read books, attend seminars, and still stay stuck. Because the breakthrough doesn't come through knowledge alone. It comes through a shift in belief. Once your belief aligns with your assignment, your actions begin to match your potential, and that's when real possession begins. You've got to understand what you believe about yourself sets the boundaries for what you will allow in your life. If you believe you're supposed to struggle, you'll repel abundance. If you believe you're meant to stay small, you'll run from expansion. That's why belief isn't optional. It's essential. You've got to wake up every day and remind yourself who you are, what you carry, and what you're capable of. Because if you don't, the world will try to convince you otherwise. And the world is always wrong when it comes to your purpose. Even the promises of God are received through belief. They're not activated just by hearing them. They're activated when you believe them deeply enough to move toward them. You can't live in the harvest if you don't believe the field is yours. You can't operate in authority if you still see yourself as broken. Belief is the bridge between knowing what's available and actually possessing it. Without belief, you'll always be a spectator in the stadium of your own calling, watching, cheering, clapping, but never stepping onto the field. So if you want to possess the life you've been dreaming of, the one filled with purpose, impact, and legacy, you must begin by believing it's already yours. Not someday, not after approval, not once you're perfect. But now, when belief takes root in your soul, your decisions shift, your posture changes. You don't just walk differently. You carry yourself like someone who already possesses the promise. Because in the realm of faith, you receive it before you see it. And once you believe it, nothing can keep it from becoming yours. Results don't come from hesitation. They come from revelation. It's something the moment is revealed to your spirit. It's not just information, it's instruction. That insight wasn't given to entertain you. It was given to activate you. But what most people do is pause when they should move. They wait when they should act. They analyze when they should obey. And in doing so, they forfeit momentum and delay results that were already ready for them. Revelation is a divine signal. Hesitation is human interference. When something is revealed to you, an idea, a vision, an answer to prayer, that is your green light. That is your moment to say yes with boldness and move forward. But the problem is many are addicted to overthinking. They don't move until all the steps are clear. They want every detail, every answer, every confirmation from every person around them. And because of that, they stay stuck in delay disguised as preparation. But the truth is, revelation was never designed to wait. It demands movement, not discussion. Hesitation kills more dreams than failure ever could, because failure teaches you lessons. Failure builds resilience. Failure moves you forward even when it hurts. But hesitation paralyzes. It keeps you wondering. It leaves you with regrets. It creates a life of what ifs and missed moments. And all the while, the results you prayed for were sitting on the other side of the step you were too afraid to take. There are blessings that are time sensitive, and if you don't move when you're supposed to, you can miss them completely. When you receive a revelation, you don't negotiate with it. You move in agreement with it. And that's what separates those who win from those who wish. It's not talent. It's not background. It's the ability to respond when revelation shows up. Revelation doesn't show up in comfort zones. It doesn't cater to your schedule. It interrupts. It awakens. It demands. And you have to be spiritually alert enough to recognize when God is speaking and bold enough to act when he does. You don't need more time. You need more trust. Trust that what was revealed to you came with provision. Trust that if God gave the vision, he already prepared the victory. But too many people hesitate because they think they need clarity when what they really need is courage. Clarity comes in motion. Revelation was meant to be walked out, not waited on. The faster you move in obedience, the faster you access what was promised. Movement activates manifestation. So if you want results, stop waiting for signs and start obeying what's already been revealed. That business idea, move. That relationship you're supposed to release, let go. That leap you've been delaying, jump, because results don't come to those who hesitate. They come to those who respond. The moment something is revealed is the moment you've been released to pursue it. Don't let hesitation talk you out of what revelation already made possible. Belief isn't silent. Belief isn't private. Belief must be spoken. It must be declared, announced, and expressed with confidence and clarity. What you believe must come out of your mouth because your words are creative power. They build your world. They set your direction. They establish your identity. Too many people believe something quietly but speak the opposite publicly. They say, I believe I'm going to succeed, but then they say things like, nothing ever works out for me, or I'm just trying to survive. That contradiction cancels the power of their belief. Your words must agree with your belief, or your life will agree with your doubt. You can't speak fear and expect to live in faith. You can't talk lack and expect to walk in abundance. Your words are spiritual blueprints. Every time you open your mouth, you're either building your future or tearing it down. This is why belief must not only live in your heart, it must live in your mouth. What you speak over your life becomes your reality. If you say you're stuck, you stay stuck. If you say you're ready, doors begin to open. Your environment responds to your language. Life moves in the direction of your declaration. Belief that isn't spoken is belief that's buried. If you really believe you've been called to do something great, you won't be afraid to say it. You'll speak it even when no one believes you. You'll speak it even when there's no evidence yet. You'll speak it even when it makes you uncomfortable, because the spoken word is how you announce to your future that you're coming. This isn't arrogance. More like this is alignment. You're not boasting in your strength. You're speaking what God has shown you. You're declaring the assignment that's already been written. Every major breakthrough begins with a declaration. Before David defeated Goliath, he spoke his victory out loud. Before any miracle in Scripture, there was a word. The principle hasn't changed. You have to speak your way, you into the next dimension. Not just think it, not just hope it. Speak it, say it, decree it, because your life doesn't follow your feelings. It follows your confession. That's why the enemy doesn't want you to talk. He wants you silent, unsure, because once you start speaking with authority, everything around you begins to shift. Your voice is not just for communication. It's for creation. You have the power to call things into existence. You have the power to frame your world with your words. That's why you can't afford to speak casually. You can't afford to joke about failure or make light of your calling. Every word counts. Speak as if heaven is listening, because it is. Speak as if your destiny is responding, because it is. Every sentence you speak is a seed, and what you sow will grow. Speak faith, speak victory, speak healing, speak overflow, speak discipline, speak favor, because that's the fruit you want to harvest. If you really believe, your mouth will show it. If you really believe, your language will change. You'll stop speaking limitation and start declaring expansion. You'll stop repeating your history and start prophesying your future. You'll speak things that make other people uncomfortable, not to impress them, but because you're too convicted to stay silent. Belief must be verbalized. It must be heard, because when you speak it, you reinforce it, you activate it, and you release the authority that was inside you all along. So don't hold it in. Speak it out. Let your belief be loud. Let it lead. Let it create the future you were designed to walk in. Faith without movement is not real faith. It's self-deception. You can say you believe all day long, but if your actions don't align with your words, then you're not walking in faith, you're walking in fantasy. True belief produces movement. It demands action. It doesn't wait for conditions to be perfect. It doesn't sit around hoping for signs. It gets up. It steps forward. It builds even when the ground isn't finished yet. If your faith isn't causing you to do something different, then what you have is a feeling, not faith. Too many people confuse excitement with faith. They get a revelation, feel inspired, get motivated, but never take the first step. They say things like, I know my time is coming, or I believe doors are about to open, but they haven't prepared for it. They haven't moved. They haven't taken action that reflects the level of faith they claim to carry. And the truth is, if you really believed it was coming, you would act like it's already on the way. You would prepare the space. You would study. You would invest. You would move. Faith always shows up in your feet. You can't talk about purpose, but walk in circles. You can't say you trust God, but live like you're defeated. The direction of your movement tells the truth about your belief. People say they're waiting on God, but often God was waiting on them. Waiting becomes a cover for fear, and delay becomes a habit. But when faith is alive, delay is no longer tolerated. Movement becomes your new normal. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you trust the one who gave the instruction. Movement is the evidence of faith. It's the proof that belief has taken root in your heart. If you really trust that what's ahead is yours, you'll move like it. You won't wait until you see the results to act. You'll act to bring the results. Noah didn't wait for the rain to start building the ark. He built because he believed. Abraham didn't wait to understand everything before he left his homeland. He left because he trusted the promise. These weren't just spiritual giants. They were ordinary people who moved based on extraordinary belief. Some people pray for breakthrough, but never take the step that leads to it. They're hoping for success, but haven't prepared for growth. They're dreaming of abundance while managing with a scarcity mindset. Faith without movement is a contradiction. You say you're ready, but your actions say otherwise. You say you believe in expansion, but your habits remain the same. If you're not willing to move when God says move, becoming more like it, then you're not walking in faith. You're walking in comfort dressed up as spirituality. So ask yourself, what has God told you to do that you've been delaying? What step have you been avoiding because of fear, uncertainty, or pride? If you really believe the promise, your feet will reflect your faith. Your calendar will show it. Your investments will confirm it. Your decisions will align with it. Because faith without works is dead, not wounded, dead. And dead faith produces dead results. But real faith, faith that moves, builds, risks, and obeys, will always attract life progress and purpose. So here's the final truth. You don't need another sign. You need a decision. You don't need more time. You need more boldness. You've got everything inside you right now to step into the life you were called to live. But the bridge between where you are and where you're destined to go is built with belief, not doubt, not hesitation, not excuses, just belief. No doubt, only belief. That's the code, the mindset. That's the posture of champions. It's the attitude of those who don't wait for opportunities. They create them. It's the fire of those who don't shrink when things get hard. They stand taller. This is your moment to shift, to speak, to move, to act, because nothing changes until you do. Stop doubting your gift. Start developing it. Stop hesitating on your calling. Start honoring it. Stop speaking fear. Start declaring victory, because the world doesn't respond to weakness. It responds to certainty. So stand up with conviction. Walk forward with fire. Talk like it's already done. Work it's already yours. Move like the door is already open. Because when you live by belief, bold, relentless, unshakable belief, the impossible has no choice but to bow. This is your time, no doubt. only belief. And the world better get ready because you're coming